Good morning. Welcome to How Do I? Today, Toni and I are going to talk about how to put in these zipper tabs on the end of your little pouches. And to start, Toni's going to tell you about some of our favoritist
Favoritist is a word.
It is, okay.
It's our word, favoritist.
Favoritist products.
Little clips. These little clips will save your life. They come in, you can get them in different sizes. I have them in almost all the sizes. And Sandie was showing on the back, a lot of them have a little mark. So if you need to mark a 1/4 inch, you can put it up to the line when you're clipping, and it'll give you your it can give you your 1/4 inch. These do not leave marks. A lot of times pins can hurt. If you see my thumb here, I did this last night. This is what a pin can do. Clamps don't do it.
Clips.
Clips, they're clamps. They clamp them.
That's true.
They're easy to use, easy to remove. They do not leave marks. If you're working with cork, vinyl, anything you really don't want to put a hole through, these little clamps work absolutely great. And I think you can see I've got a little clip on here holding this together. So what we want to go on to then is one of our favorite tools is ByAnnie, their stiletto. This stiletto has flat sides, so it isn't going to roll up. This is an extremely sharp point. It's German steel, and it has kind of a rough edge to it, so that when you're holding something down, it catches the fabric and doesn't let it slip around. There's a difference between stilettos and awls. Awls are handy in their own use, but they usually have a bit thicker point on them, where this is nice and thin. You can almost get right up in between your zipper or the feet on your sewing machine to help hold, but it grabs. It also has a little flat presser part on the back here, so if I'm wanting to press a seam, I can finger press and actually press harder with this. This is one of our favorite. This is probably the only one on the market that has all these features. It's a ByAnnie. Next thing we'd like to talk about is one thing we use a lot of is stitch perfection tape. It's a washable. They do have permanent and washable. We like to use washable because if you use it in a hem, I want it to wash out so my hem is pliable. If I use a permanent with this in a hem, it's going to be stiff. It is not going to get pliable. So we use the washable in pretty much everything. We use it in bag making, we use it in garment making. Very easy to use. You basically have a little roll, and you would take off a piece, clip it, and Sandie has already put a little piece down here because she wants to hold this. She doesn't want to have to use a clamp or a clip, and she doesn't want to have to use pins, so she puts a little piece down, and then you just take a pin.
I have one pin.
Oh, I have a pin. And it makes it easy to pull that end up so that you can pull it off. And then you can press it down, and it's going to hold it. It's going to stay. So I don't have pins, I don't have clips that I need to remove. Another thing that
I need that one.
You want that one? You need that one?
I will need that one.
Another thing we really like, it can save you money. The Gypsy Quilter Handy Zipper Jig. If you've never seen one used, ladies, this one can save you money. There is a lot of zippers that you can buy on a roll. Some come with the zipper pulls on them, some don't. If they don't come with the zipper pulls on, or if the zipper pull slides off, I need to be able to put it back on. The Zipper Jig has for a size 5 as well as for a size 3.
Let's explain. Size 5 is your big one, your bag making zipper.
And size 3 is like the dressmaking zippers, the smaller ones. There is also some designers out there that have a 4.5 zipper. If it works the same way. You can put it on using the zipper jig, but if you have a 4.5 zipper tape, you need to have a 4.5 zipper pull. You cannot put a size 5 on a 4.5. It isn't going to work. So it just depends the size. Now, how many times have we had going to put a zipper in and it comes off? I need to put it back on. The trick with this little puppy is, see how it's like a little house here? I have the point coming up. And what I'm going to do, the trick, now this is the back side of the zipper, is to come in at an angle. On the picture, this gal has long nails and trying to put it on straight. It doesn't work that way. You basically just take your ends, you come in at an angle, and I'm doing this backwards because usually I do it the other way. In at an angle, and it's on that easy, literally.
Bam. Yeah.
Bam. You can also put a second pull on the other way if you wanted a long zipper that had the 2 zipper pulls, so you can open to either side. It's easy to put on. Okay? Zipper jig. This is one of your best buddies.
Most zipper tapes are non-directional, meaning you can put the pull on from either end, but there are some that the way that they're woven, you can only put it on from one end. I don't buy those. if you buy.
If you happen to have one and it isn't going on quite right, try the other end. Turn it around.
Yep.
Okay?
That's it. Okay, let's get to our bag. Little bag, fully lined. No raw edges. To start, you can make a bag any size you want. You do not need a pattern. For me, it depended on what size scraps I had. So this particular bag is this one. I made it 10 inches long, 8 inches wide, just like that. We love Shape Flex 101. It's a Pellon product. I iron it to my fabric first, usually, and then cut out my pieces. Because as you can see here, it shrinks. I don't know if you can see that, but look how much it shrank. It does say on the directions for Shape Flex 101 to rinse it out in warm water, hang it dry, so that you've taken out that shrinkage. But that's a lot of work.
Too much work.
That is way too much work. If you put it on your fabric, spray it good, let it sink in, and then iron it, it'll shrink a little bit, but not enough that it makes any difference.
And it really helps to put the SF 101 on beforehand and then cut your pieces out. Like with most fabrics, there's a certain amount of give in the fabric. This stabilizes it so it does not move, makes it easier to cut. You don't get the fraying on the edges because it seals it. It just is really a lifesaver.
Yep. So you need 2 lining pieces, each 8 by 10 or whatever size you want. And then you take your little ruler and you mark a 1 1/4 inch corner. I usually, to save time and save steps, is put them both together and cut out that corner. And you can use any pen you want. It's on the inside. No one's going to know. It's not going to show. There you are. My 2 lining pieces are ready. Then for the outside, you have 2 8 by 10 pieces of your fabric. This time I put fusible fleece on the back because I want it to have this little bit of puff. I want it to stand up and not flop over. So that's why fusible fleece, it is another Pellon product. I believe this is 987 Pellon fusible. So I put that on all my fabric, and then I cut out my pieces. I did my same measuring, cut out my 1¼ inch corners, and now I'm ready to go. Where's my zipper? Here.
I was hiding that.
I'm using Zipper by the Yard. I already put my pull on. Now you want your zipper an inch shorter than this width. So if this is 10 inches, my zipper needs to be 9 inches, or even a scant 9 inches. So I already got my pull on. I'm just going to measure right here, go to about right there, and cut. This little piece, don't throw it away. You can use it as a little key hook on the side of your bag, or anything, you know. I use every last scrap of zipper because I paid for it. Now on my zipper, I'm going to put my wash-away tape. You don't need to press this with an iron. It is just press it with your fingers. Oh, I did that too soon. Oh well, that's okay. I forgot about the tabs. The tabs, Toni, the tabs. I cut 2 by 2 squares. I press them in half, and then I press the 2 raw edges to the inside. And then I finger pressed a little wash-away tape on it. Then I'm going to take my wash-away tape, take the paper off, and you just have the shiny sticky stuff, and you're going to put it so that your zipper is all the way in, all the way into that first fold, like that. The reason I put the tape on the back is because invariably, if I don't, my feed dogs are going to turn this upside down, and I'm going to have a big crumble back there. I don't want to crumble. So I'm going to put it on both ends. Where's my darning pin? Take the paper off. Wow, I should have loosened this one up early too. There we go. Put it on the other end. Take that back a bit. All the way into the fold and put it on. I purposely cut it bigger. We can trim it down later. And it's still going to measure about 9 inches. So that's good. Now I'm going to go over to my sewing machine, and I'm just going to sew across that. I have on my 1/4 inch foot right now, and I have my stitch length set to 3.0. You can do 3.0, you can do 3.5. Make it big. It doesn't hurt. And I'll be stitching over this again later, so if you're doing a whole bunch of these, to save time, you can just flip this other end around, take your handy dandy stiletto, and it does go all the way up into there. So you can get this all the way under your presser foot and continue sewing. I'm a lefty, so trying to keep my fingers out of the way for you, and there you go. Now I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to trim it. Trim both sides down even with your zipper. Okay, now you'd put this zipper tape on. Throw those away. When you make a bag, you have a lining and a right side. The zipper tape would be right sides together with your right side and wrong sides together with your lining. You're going to make a sandwich. So there's my pin. it doesn't want to come off, hit it with an iron. It doesn't hurt it. There we go. Now come on, little buddy. This is going to take me all day. Take a break. There we go. Got it.
It's not usually that hard to get the paper off. It usually comes off pretty good.
So I'm making a sandwich. Right sides together. My front, my lining. And I'm going to measure about 1/2 inch. You can just use a pen or chalk or whatever. Make a little line so that you know about where your zipper's going. And then line it up between there. Oh, see, mine got a little small, but that's okay. You just stick it in there. I want it to pull from this side, so my pull is aimed that way. And put this on top. And press it down with your fingers. And it's all stuck together there.
I think if you wanted to, you could also put the paper on the lining.
Yep.
Too, so it would be sandwiched to help hold. It isn't going to hurt.
Yep, it doesn't really matter. Well, why? It's because I'm on camera that it's not working right. Isn't that the way it always goes? You know, you do something a million times at home, it's fine. When you go to show somebody, you mess up. So then I'll put my clips in. And now I'm going to change to my zipper foot for this. So this foot comes off. This foot goes on. My walking foot goes back down again. It's IDT, independent feed. You can move your needle all the way over to the left if you want, or you can leave it right there. For this part, I'm moving it over.
She always moves
There,
her needle.
see?
I leave my needle alone. My needle stays where it's dead center.
Well, now I
You can do
know
it either way.
if I'm from my needle to right here is 1/4 inch. So I can guide this right along that one feed dog, and I know I've got my 1/4 inch seam. So, put it down, and away we go. I'm going to back stitch a little bit. Come on. Stop with your needle down, lift your foot, go inside here, and move your zipper pull to the other end. That way you won't get that lumpy bump that you sometimes get when you're going around your zipper. And all the way to the end, and back stitch. There we go. Zipper, lining. Now eventually I'm going to press this, but just for now I'm going to just finger press this away.
Just the bottom of that.
It doesn't really matter, I'm just finger pressing a little bit. Now I'm going to put the other side on. Same thing, you can put your tape anywhere you want. You can put on your lining, put on your front, put on your zipper. I'm probably not under the camera, sorry. Put it right up against the edge. But you know, if it shows on your zipper tape after you're all done, just wet a little Q-tip and run it along there, and it kind of melts right away. It's water soluble. It will just melt right away from you. There we go. Once again, wrong side of zipper. This time I can kind of line it up with this part. I don't even have to draw any more lines. There, 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 there. Then this one, I'm just going to clip on. You could use tape again if you're more comfortable with that, or you could use clips. I'm just going to clip them together and go back and sew them. I still know where my 1/4 inch is. My needle is still right where I left it. Back stitch a few. What are you doing? Okay. Gotta move my pull out of the way. Move my pull to the other side. I love that it cuts it for me. And there we are. Close my zipper. Now I'm going to press it. Let me bring this over here since I found the You're pressing away from your zipper. Press those ends nice. Press this. Oh, it went to sleep. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey.
You have to hit the button.
It was hot, I did check it.
There we go, now it'll heat. She's using my little iron. This is a Tula Pink iron, and I call it a tweener because it's not the little small travel size, and it's not the great big one. It's in between. If I'm doing a lot of piecing, this little puppy is so lightweight and handy. I'm not normally a Tula Pink fan, but I was impressed with this, and I bought one.
Oh, you should see all the Tula Pink fabric she bought too.
No.
Yes, you did.
But I can't say
I
enough
was
good
there.
things about this little iron, especially it's got more of a tip point on it, so when you're trying to open the seam up, it really helps to...
Okay. There you go. Now what I like to do to make sure my linings stay back and out of the way is clip them down here. Pull it nice and tight and clip it. That way when you're top stitching,
Camera. That'd be...
I'll clip up there.
I'll clip.
Okay. Pull the
There.
lining nice and tight and clip it. Now we're going to go back and sew our top stitching. We're going to top stitch along here, across our previous stitching, along here, and back. We are not going to do these little 1/2 inch ends. And I'm going to move my needle back the other way because now if I put it in, it gives me my 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So I can just run right alongside my zipper there. I get right there, I turn, I go across my zipper, turn, go back. If your zipper pull gets in the way, again, you just zip it out of the way, Keep going. Back to where I started. And I'll just do a stitch over instead of tying off, instead of back stitching. There. So, can you see? It's top stitched. It's top stitched right along here. Now we get to sew our bag together. You're going to match up your linings and your fronts. And here is why it makes it so easy to put these two together. See how that matches up there perfectly? You can have this seam allowance down, you can have it up. Don't fight it, whichever direction it goes, go with it. Clip your sides. Clip the other side. Same thing over here. Don't fight it, just line them up. This time it wants to go down, that's okay. They're lined up. Clip it. Now I'm going to leave my zipper foot on because I do not want to sew across that tab, but I want to get close to it. So start sewing at one end. This time I'm going to do about a 3/8 inch seam allowance. That should get me pretty close to my zipper without hitting that zipper tab. You've got to keep those lined up with your finger or your stiletto. Right over the top. Down the other side. Back stitch. Repeat for the other side. Sometimes I forget which button. But this is a really cool machine. It goes through everything. It's a pop icon. It's a great machine for bag making or quilting. Make sure those are lined up. Now I don't sew the bottom yet. I have both long sides sewn. I'm going to go in and open my zipper. And I'm going to put this press bar in here. First this side and press these seams open. I put it all the way in until I get to where my zipper was. My kids are not going to know. Give it a press. Do the other side. Just kind of work it in there. Give it a press. Then go to the other side, put it in, go right up to the top. That's why I really like this, because I can stand it up, I can stand my seam up, and I can reach in there and have my sides pressed. A lot of times when they tell you to press a seam open, they don't really tell you how to do it. Here we go. Do it again. Toni always says, work smarter, not harder. I think this is my work smarter. Open it up. Give it a press. Okay, put this back over here so I don't burn myself. Now your last steps would be to close the bottom. Make sure your zipper is open because you're going to take everything through. So you sew your bottom seam. I can just leave my zipper foot on, or I can change back to my 1/4 inch, but since it's my zipper foot, I'll just leave it. And down. Come on. Normally I would press this one open too, but to save time, I'm just going to finger press it with my ByAnnie. Just so that it opens it a bit. To box your corners, you're going to go like this, stick your finger in there, bring it up so that it's a straight seam. Both of your seam allowances are open, and box those corners. Make sure you backstitch at each end. Second side, same as the first. Usually when I make bags, I quilt my fleece. You can use fleece or foam or even batting scraps. Don't stop making little bags just because you don't have the right stabilizer. Use what you have, use up your scraps. Next week, Toni's going to show you some ways to quilt it and another way to put zippers in if you don't like zipper tabs. Okay, then you're going to sew this seam, but I only sew just a little bit. I have rather big hands. I want to be able to stick them all the way in there to get my corners out and everything. So I'm only going to sew about 1 inch. Enough that I can box the corners without and this one down. Ah, I hit the wrong button. Toni, you made me do that.
I'll hit some buttons for you.
Sure you would.
We know what happens when that
you
happens.
hit buttons.
Yeah, we know what happens when I hit buttons.
This seam I am going to press open because when I go to turn it to sew it closed, it'll be so much easier if I have these seam allowances pressed under. And let me tell you, it is so handy to have your iron right next to your sewing machine. I'm going to box those corners. And I almost have this bag done. Put it under. Make sure you backstitch. And the other one. Last one. Now, Toni calls this giving birth.
Birthing a bag.
You're
That's
gonna
the
stick your hand in.
official name. You're going to birth a bag.
Grab it all, pull it through. Stick your hand in there and poke out your corners. Or you could take a chopstick or, a pokey tool with a rounded point. You don't want to do anything pointy. You don't want to pop your corners out. This will close up like this, and you would sew this seam closed. I won't do it right now, but you just sew right across there. Then you'd shove all this in, and then the magic happens when you find your corners. I don't use a pokey tool. I just use my fingers and bring my corners up. And look at there. You've got your corners. I have a string. Your ends meet right there. Your corner comes up. It's nice and straight and flat. And I put my zipper in for a lefty, because this is the front of my bag, and it pulls this way. Oops. Now I would go back and I would iron here and here and here to get these nice so that you have a flat bottom and your bag stands up. Voila, you're done.
It's that easy.
It's that easy to put in
can-
zipper tabs. If you're using that number 3 zipper, the dress zipper, you can use that. When you measure, don't just measure from one end, but cut off those metal ends, because you do not want metal ends that your needle might hit and break. We can't have that.
Yeah, she's talking about
See,
the metal pieces that are,
so I would cut it here, then I would measure my 9 inches, my 8 inches or whatever, and cut the other end, and put my tabs on.
and that's why the zipper jig is handy, because if this thing pops off, you've got a zipper with no pull on it. The zipper jig works great.
Or if you accidentally cut it and the pull is on the end that you just cut off.
We've never done that.
No, never, never. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been really fun. I hope you picked up a few tips and tricks, and go make bags.
And you
It's
can
so
make your
fun.
bag any size. It does not have to be an 8 by 10. It could be
No.
a 10 by 12. It could be a 7 by 8. The same things apply on how to put them in, whatever size you want to make. Get creative with your bags.
I have a little bitty one cut out here for my granddaughter. My son brought this fabric from Japan, and I wanted all my granddaughters to have a little bag, but I only had less than a fat quarter, so this is just going to be a cute little bag. Just, go have fun with it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week on How Do I?
Bye-bye.
Bye.